friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 750. In that neighborhood, my brothers and sisters. It is that time to get into another one of these true crime, horror, dark, deep, and mysterious, what the is going on type of videos. And today, it is another Wednesday. So y'all know who we're about to go back to. Mike from that chapter. Back to that chapter, Bean Team. Hope y'all doing excelente out there today. And I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again to help with the bean. And the title of the video is YouTuber Vlogs the Moments Before His Horrific Murder in Danger Zone. Now, I'm just wondering what the freak is this danger zone, Bean Team? What do Mike mean by that? I don't know, but we're about to see. But before we see, my brothers and sisters, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need, please. It is always a delight when we get to go back to Mike. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's go.
Everybody's telling me right now there's people out there planning to come get me, bro. No, but that's true though. There's people coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me, or they're threatening to kidnap me, or stuff like that. Like every day this is happening. This is like a real life thing for me here, and that's why no foreigners or there's no tourists staying here, because they're smarter than that. But for me, I've been living here, I've been taking this chance. You know? Even last night, I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared.
Sound like you need to get the hell up out of there. Long story short story long. Sound like you need to leave there, bro.
On YouTube over the years, there's a lot of very weird stuff posted. It's a brave statement to make, I know. But every once in a while, I come across something that is like truly shocking. Like hairs on the back of my neck, hella erect. Like the channel Human Being 15, that only has one video posted. Back in September 2009, a video was posted, simply titled 010. We never see the person behind the camera, except for a brief glimpse. Nor do they speak, it's just them in a room with what looks to be thousands and thousands of notebooks. The oddly prophetic thing is they all seem to be they write, P. Diddy.
What?
Mr. Diddy, all this hard work I've done for you. And written in those notebooks, just one sentence, over and over and over. Dear Mr. P. Diddy, please accept. Brother Diddy, please accept. Now, allegedly, this is a re-upload from the original channel, Human Being 151, and is the only surviving video from that channel, and is clearly the most disturbing. Now, likely this was just a joke, or a scam, or something dumb, but even so, and even if all of the notebooks not shown on camera are blank, it's frankly very weird. Did they get advance notice of, you know, all the stuff? Or how about streamer Tom Thistlethwaite, a young man from York in the UK who streamed quite a bit of, well, streams of consciousness.
Okay, so when I was talking about psychiatry earlier, I was talking about antipsychotics. And with antipsychotics, they have a use and a place. So haloperidol does have a use and a place. But you don't want to have to get to that point. So what I was going to suggest, first of all, is if you actually think about psychosis as a break of contact from reality. So you've got to think of psychosis in terms of relative language. So psychosis is described as loss of contact with reality. So in terms of language, can people communicate? So whether people can communicate their ideas or not, that's central to psychosis. So where am I going with this? It's all a massive fucking conspiracy. What's new today?
His last stream was in November 2018, and that stream ended with the police closing his laptop.
Get it, you're live. Yeah. Everything you say is being recorded, mate. It's a mallet. To defend myself. Beg your pardon? I'm sorry you're cold, and I'm sorry I'm wasting your time, babe. Well, I'm sorry they're wasting your time. Because you have much better things to do than to harass people. Have you had an okay day other than this?
Tom had been streaming for hours and had been threatening the police, saying he was gonna shoot them. The 29-year-old computer scientist had been threatening various people he knew, and some of these were made aware of the stream and called the police. He was asking for help in committing murders and was saying he would throw Molotov cocktails out his window. After a 9-hour standoff, he was taken into custody and seems to be getting the help he for sure needed. He was diagnosed as bipolar, something he was exacerbating with illegal drugs, and he later pleaded guilty to all charges and was sentenced to 4 years in prison.
And it's just so crazy, y'all, because I was talking about this, I can't even remember who channel we was watching. I think it was the last time we watched from Nick Crowley, y'all, with the dark YouTube channels or whatever. And I was like, the craziest thing about some of the most darkest ish that be on YouTube, it always be like those little small channels that only got a couple of hundred or maybe a couple of thousand subscribers that'll have some ish that you watch it and be like, what the did I just watch? What the is going on type of video for real? And we just kind of got some examples of it just then. Let's go, my friends.
Hey you and welcome, my name is Mike, and in this solo video, from weird blogs that led to even stranger disappearances to expats in very dangerous places, today I have another number for you of the darkest channels on YouTube. Each one is like pretty unsettling in their own way, sort of like an Easter egg filled with horror. But before we get into all of that, please subscribe to see new stories for the dark every single Tuesday. Now, you and I, let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go and get whatever you might need.
It was November 2013, and on a YouTube channel titled Sandra 3000 Cassie, a number of very strange and puzzling videos were posted.
Hi, baby. Good night. It's Talika. I am just coming to you to say hi and just to tell you about my day. Baby, I felt that. Anyway. It is a little past midnight, and I just wanted to tell you about my day. I had a very, very active day. First, I had morning report. No, not morning report. Conferences for pediatrics from 8 o'clock to noon. And then I had a meeting with the clinical research committee from 12 to 1. And then I had Pete's clinic when I saw my little children from 1 to 5.
The videos were posted by a woman named Talika Patrick and appeared to be directed to her partner, her husband, her lover. Though, well, the videos seem to be sorta her recording her side of a conversation between her and this other person. The videos start off just sort of, relatively mundane. Talika speaking about her day. She worked in medicine. And then she begins singing. She actually begins singing for the majority of the video, titled My Awesome Day.
Yes. Putting up a little bit of fight, it's alright, but why run from what's gonna hold you tight through any crowd that and every heartbeat? Hey, road, you've been before the blow, but don't you know?
That's a lot of singing.
And I know Mike said that, she basically is, or presumably she is shooting these videos like talking to one specific person, more than likely her boyfriend or baby, her baby. That's why she keeps saying baby all the time. But in a weird way, it seemed like she kind of talking to us too. I don't know, big team. I don't know why would this lady be sitting up here putting these damn videos up. Why you ain't on FaceTime with your baby, talking to him directly? You upload these to YouTube for all us to see. So now I'm sitting up here like, are you singing to me? Let's go.
Interesting stuff.
Well, I hope you have a good night. Bye. I love you.
2 days later, Talika posted another video, this one titled Surprise, Final Video. And there wasn't any clickbait with that title.
Hi, love. It's me. So I finally got done. So I just wanted to show you what I made. So first I start with, if you were here, this is what it would be your plate.
What?
So here we have an omelet I made for like when you saw me making it, and it's got broccoli and
Once again, very similar to the first one. Talika speaking to her partner, recording her half of the conversation. This one even showing Talika having cooked a meal, as in this is what you would have if you were here with her.
and we both have orange juice, and here are the flowers from last time.
But why would she be uploading this ish to YouTube, Bean Team? Is her partner dead? Is her partner somebody who she thinks she a partner with, but he don't want to have nothing to do with her? Is her partner somebody that she done killed and got hid in the freaking closet right now? Like, what the freak is going on, man? This is so weird, y'all. And I think the fact that you can see her, that she done made a whole plate for whoever baby is, it kind of lets you know that she might be on some like stalker type ish. I don't know. This crazy. Let's keep going. Hopefully we're going to get some answers.
Like, stumbling across this video on YouTube, you would think probably that it's simply Talika was in a long distance relationship with her boyfriend or something like that, and these were videos she would record and then send them to her partner who lived, across the country, and somehow these videos had been made public accidentally, but it's private, intimate videos they would send each other.
I wanna make you see just what I was, show you the loneliness and what it does.
And one more thing I got to point out real quick, Bean Team. She ain't never said a name. We have never heard her say anybody's name. You know what I'm saying? Just pay attention to that part too.
Walked into my life and stopped my tears.
Then once again it ends with a lot of Talika singing. She's belting out a romantic song for the love of her life. Well, why this channel made the list of darkest YouTube channels is that Talika, not long after she posted that surprise final video, Talika Patrick vanished. in extremely mysterious and disturbing circumstances. She had spoken to a number of people saying that she was fearing for her life. She posted these videos early November. Her family last saw her on Thanksgiving, and then on December 5th, 2013, she left her shift at the hospital and disappeared. One of the last times she was spotted was on a hotel CCTV. This was a hotel in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where she lived, and she was attempting to check in. Almost like she was on the run or hiding from something. She spent about 20 minutes in this hotel trying to get a room, but it turned out she had forgotten her credit card, so they couldn't give her the room. After she vanished, her family put up a $10,000 reward to try and, help find her. So who is Talika? Who is she speaking to? And what in the ever-loving shit happened? Talika was 30 years of age, originally born in Maryland, but she grew up in Queens, New York, with her younger sister Tanisha and younger brother Matthias. And from the get-go, everybody knew Talika would go far. She was top of the class at school. She was always reading, studying. She excelled in violin. And I mean, when people are good at violin, it's usually an indication. She just seemed to be a real brainiac, so much so that she would graduate from the Bronx High School of Science. Pretty good school that has produced the most Nobel Prize winners of any secondary school in the world. Like ever. Not bad, I suppose. But not only was she highly intelligent, she was also very kind and caring to those around her. So with a combination of brains and a caring nature, Talika would eventually go and study biochemistry. And all those years later, in 2013, she would move to Kalamazoo and begin a 4-year-long residency at the Borges Medical Center as a psychiatrist. Now, Talika had moved around a lot over the years, lived in Huntsville, Alabama, California, Michigan, and had been married once before also to a man named Ishmael. The couple, though, divorced after 6 years of marriage because, well, Ishmael knew a few things about Talika and was worried about her. Now, these things that Ishmael knew, they would not come up at all in the divorce proceedings when they finally ended it, but Talika, she had certain beliefs. Beliefs that later on, shortly before she disappeared, would spill out onto her YouTube channel. From April 2013 until the following December, when she seemingly walked out of a hotel and was never seen again, she had been tweeting. Tweeting a lot, from 5 different Twitter accounts. Over 20,000 tweets. All were addressed seemingly to the same person she was talking to in those YouTube videos that I showed you.
Hi, baby.
So who was that? Who is he? Well, her family, they weren't sure. Her family believed her to be single. After she divorced, they never knew of any other halves or partners that would come into her life again. But her tweets over 2013, which is, about a year after she divorced Ishmael, they were extremely worrying. When I get to you, things will start to make a lot more sense. I promise. I've just relocated to be with you, so I really hope you want me. I started feeling you again around 10 a.m. The signals went haywire for a while, then they reset themselves. If I'm not directly, personally, and explicitly invited into your life, I will assume that I am unwanted. I need to deal in realities, understand? Or else I won't be sure if what I'm thinking is correct or not. How will I know if I'm right if nothing I've communicated to you has ever been validated? Ever. Exactly. That makes no sense. I've begun to think that this entire time that I've been messaging you, that it was all in my head, the entire 7 months, that you never cared about me, that the experiences I thought we were sharing, we never did. After all, I could not prove any of it. You never messaged me back directly. You only sent these non-specific messages, and there was no way that I could be sure that any of it was ever intended for me. Now, her family would later claim to be completely unaware, but as you might have guessed, Talika was highly mentally unstable in a very scary way. This had actually been one of the reasons that Ishmael had divorced her. He'd been begging her to seek treatment for what he described as her growing, paranoia, hallucinations, all of these kind of things, but she was refusing. Believing that, well, as someone, studying psychiatry, that it probably wouldn't be a good idea if she needed psychiatric help herself. Wrongly believing that, for sure. She believed she was getting these secret messages, communications, telepathic messages from someone else. And while in her job and her career, people would use words about Talika like, highly intelligent, brilliant, top of her class, top of the league, leagues above everybody else. In her private life, things were very wrong. And her paranoia and her delusions, the person she was talking to? Marvin Sapp, a famous Grammy-nominated singer, and then a pastor in Michigan. She'd become obsessed with him, believing he was sending her secret telepathic messages.
What the hell? This is so crazy, y'all. And I know who Marvin Sapp is. I have heard of this guy. But what, like, see, this is a perfect example of, like, no matter how intelligent somebody could be, it still don't mean that they don't have mental problems. You know what I'm saying, man? This lady graduated top of the line, doing great in her career and all that, and just highly freaking intelligent. Long story short, story long. But she still got some screws loose in the brain, being team. Man, like, now I'm starting to wonder, did she, at first I'm thinking when Mike said she first went missing, I'm thinking like she got kidnapped. Oh Lord, somebody that snatched her up, whoever she was talking to, whatever. But now I'm starting to think like, man, maybe this lady just jumped off the bridge one freaking night. I'm just saying, let's go.
That was one of the reasons she even moved to Kalamazoo. She was only 50 miles from where his church was. All of those tweets, those videos, all directed towards him. She was stalking him big time. She believed she had some kind of psychic connection to him. And the thing was, she was able enough to keep this a secret. I mean, she was spewing it on Twitter and YouTube, but her family would say she seemed grand to them. And if they knew she was as mentally unwell as she secretly was, they would have helped her. She had tried to break into Marvin Sapp's home before. One time she had attended one of his services and was given out to by him, in front of all the attendees for stalking him, communicating with his children, all that. He would later obtain a restraining order against her, showing more than 400 pages of one-sided correspondence between the two of them. Talika did not take this restraining order well, and it was shortly after that she began posting videos on YouTube. She posted in total 9 videos, but only 2 are surviving to this day. She tweeted, "I had to leave you alone so you don't hurt me anymore. I spent the last 10 months like that. It's not healthy. I'm not eating right, I'm not sleeping right, I'm not taking care of myself the way I'm supposed to, and my excitement about life is way down. I feel emotionally, spiritually, and mentally drained. And I am a fun-loving and sociable person. I'm not supposed to be like this. I don't like it." It was then in early December she called a friend saying that she was fearing for her life, saying that Marvin Sapp, the restraining order wasn't enough and that he was planning on having her removed entirely. On December 5th, the day she went missing, she told her colleagues and people like that she was going to go visit a family member in Chicago after work. Then at 7:30 p.m, she asked a colleague for a ride to downtown Kalamazoo. Now the colleague would say that during this journey, she was acting highly strange. She was speaking with like a very strained, high-pitched voice. She was blinking non-stop. And, I mean, she was asking him about demons, so, yeah. She then tried to book a room in a hotel, but didn't have her credit card with her. She stayed there for about 20 minutes. A hotel shuttle bus brought her back to the hospital where she worked, and she was last seen walking through the hospital parking lot. Then she vanished. It was at 9:35 p.m. that the 911 call came in.
911, what's the exact location of your emergency?
Westbound on 94 between Chesterton and Burns Harbor.
What's going on there?
There's a car in the ditch. I'm not sure what's going on. It's right off of 94 in the westbound lanes.
Do you know if it was an accident or is it just a disabled vehicle?
I can't tell because it's nighttime out, and all I saw was a car in the ditch. Yeah, there's lights on in the car. The lights are on in the car.
Okay.
It was Talika Patrick's car, in a ditch off the highway. The car had been reported previously, driving very erratically down the highway. When the police got there though, the car was empty. Her keys weren't there was no sign of Talika anywhere, in these grasses, in this area around her car, but inside they found her wallet, and some of her clothing was still in there too. This was a cold winter, and the search began. Now, when the search did start, and her family, they were very concerned, but they didn't know her mental state. As I said, she was very, very good at keeping her, this exclusively online. She did let it slip once or twice, let it slip through once or twice, like when she asked her colleague about, demons. But her family would say, again, if they had any inkling that she was like this, they would have, sought help for her. She had mentioned Marvin Sapp once or twice before, but they just thought she was joking. Then, as the investigation into Talika Patrick's disappearance progressed, they found the tweets, they found the YouTube videos, they found that restraining order. Now, Marvin Sapp was quickly cleared. Some did think maybe he wanted his stalker gone, but he hadn't done anything at all. Her ex-husband, he was investigated and cleared. A dog did track her scent from the car back to the highway, and then it just completely vanished. So there was a theory that maybe she had gotten a ride from somebody else and, vanished that way, or she had been kidnapped or abducted by somebody. But she had just vanished. Weeks and then months went by.
I don't know what exactly happened, y'all, but I do got a feeling that, like, when she got up to the highway, she got in a person's car, either willingly or unwillingly. You know what I'm saying, man? I do feel like that, because that's what a dog scent cut off and all that. And I feel like some kind of way, for whatever reason, she got inside a vehicle and vanished.
But then in the following April, Talika Patrick's body was found in Lake Charles. Lake Charles was very, very close to where her car had been found that cold December night. It took her so long to find, as during the winter the lake had frozen over. What was believed to have happened to Talika was that she had been driving erratically, and one of the tires was found to have a nail in it. So she might not even have been intentionally driving erratically, but the tire just burst. She ended up going off the highway, and then she got out of the car, and then maybe she ran. Maybe she ran because she believed somebody was following her, somebody was after her, demons were after her. She ran. The lake would have been frozen, so she began running across the lake and fell through. A very tragic end to this disturbing tale. The Talika Patrick story became kind of a case study later for doctors, psychiatric doctors in particular, developing their own mental illnesses. Like, there could have been a high chance she was aware of what was going on, she simply didn't know how to deal with it. Judging from her tweets, she likely did know a lot of it was in her head. Maybe she would have gotten help, but it just ended in what was tragically an accident that took her life. By all accounts, Talika Patrick was a remarkable young woman with a bright future ahead of her. She was just simply unable to stop herself as her disease got worse and worse.
Man, that one there, I feel that's a sad story there, y'all. Like, I really do feel bad for Talika, man. Rest in peace to her. I didn't expect for it to go that way. I was just saying, man, I think she got picked up in a car or something. And no, come to find out, like, them demons that she thought she was seeing and that she had in her head, pretty much, I don't know if she had the intentions to go out on that lake and commit suicide, but that's eventually what it led to her ending up unaliving herself by falling in that freaking frozen lake, man. Like, oh my God. And it's so sad. And I actually do believe her family when they say that they know that she had all this going on. You know what I'm saying, man? Because on the outside looking in, she an intelligent young woman. You know what I'm saying? Doing good. Did great in school, got a good job, all that. Beautiful smile, all that. Looked like she had a great personality, but she had some stuff going on, y'all, that nobody knew about, and it ended up costing her freaking life. That's why, being team, man, make sure your family and friends all right. I'll just leave it at that. Long story short, short story long, man. Make sure everybody in a good headspace. I digress. Let's keep going. Good video.
The story of Elliot Eastman is as much of a cautionary tale as you will ever come across. Elliot was simply a young fella from Vermont who had traveled to the Philippines and fell in love with the country, fell in love with a woman, and came to a horrifying end because he simply moved to a place you do not want to move to.
For climbing. Up and down the mountains, and now I gotta hide. Because maybe it's a kidnapper. And they're looking at us. They're at me. They're like,
On October 17th, 2024, Elliot was live streaming, something he did a lot, and he'd in fact been live streaming all that day on multiple videos. Towards the end, he was sitting on the floor, and it appeared where he was living, in this little shed type thing, eating what was fruit.
what up, bro? What is it? The live stream? Let's get the series, bro. I'm starting to get tired. What?
He seemed a little down though in these final moments of the live stream, though he would say that he was just simply tired. It was just 2 hours after the stream ended though, that his nightmare began. Before this, Elliot had had a pretty unremarkable, stable life. Elliot was originally from Heinsberg, just outside of Burlington, Vermont, and grew up with at least one sibling, his sister Autumn. He went to college in Ithaca, upstate New York. He worked DoorDash and Uber. He skied in the winter. He went to the lakes in the summer, and he had a keen interest in photography. For some reason, he just decided, though, to completely up sticks and move to the Philippines. For sort of doesn't seem to be really... Maybe he was like looking for adventure, looking for a fresh start, whatever. But he was gone. He first went there in 2023 and stayed there for a couple of months. And in fact, it seemed like he was engaged to a woman during that first day, but got scammed out of a lot of money. He then returned to the United States, worked for another bit, and then went back to the Philippines. This time he met and married a Filipino woman, and he seemed content to stay there.
But why is this like the danger zone though? You know what I'm saying? Are the local Philippines they mad that he's like that he a white man staying in their area or something? I don't know, y'all. This is very freaking strange and interesting at the same time. Let's get some answers of why this is the danger zone.
He began documenting sort of everything through his vlogs. He posted a lot, frankly, about his life in the Philippines and seemed to be very happy to be there. His channel description goes, "Hello everyone, I'm Elliot Eastman. I am 26 years old and I came to the Philippines about 1.5 years ago, where I met the love of my life deep in the mountains of the red zone of the Philippines. Zamboanga del Norte is a recently developed area of the Philippines that was once only accessible by boat. I'll be showing you my day-to-day life as the first and only foreigner to have lived here in Cebuco for a long period of time. I'm from the USA."
And I was just like, I really wanted to make this channel happen. And I was just like, all right, I'm gonna start making videos. I'm just gonna start posting something. So I just started posting like random videos.
He was pretty candid in his videos, revealing some of the reasons he left America and some of the reasons he missed it.
It was just in the US, like I had to basically be working all the time, be away from home, and even I'm away from home, like even I'm working all the time, and I come back at 12 o'clock at night, right, thinking that I'm safe, like I don't have to deal with any like negativity or anything like that. My dad is like, I come into the house and there's like all this screaming going on, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's sitting there like yelling at my mom. for like, because he said he was gonna do the dishes for my mom, and then he didn't do the dishes. So he's making like a broken promise, and then he started screaming bad things about me, like, how about your son, like, what's he doing? And it's like, I don't know. The other thing I would say is people's attitude. It's hard to deal with a little bit sometimes too. It's not like living with my grandparents who are just absolutely so nice all the time. Like, yeah, people are rude sometimes a little bit. But I feel like I've been staying in this area for so long to the point where people, I don't even know if people like me anymore. Maybe they want bad things to happen to me now. It's like, that's how I'm starting to think. So it's like, it's really not good.
It wasn't always easy for him in this fresh country. As I said, he'd been scammed once before, but once he met his new wife, Carisha, it was all coming up Elliot. Found peace, it seems, with her. It seems like he was sort of just living the living the dream, you know, having a good ass time, just vlogging sort of everything. I mean, most of his vlogs are not terribly interesting, but I guess they're sort of interesting. I mean, for example, one thing that came up a good bit was money. You know, he would say he had spent about like $2,500 to get Starlink and solar panels so he could access the internet and vlog this American life in the Philippines. He'd also spent some money, you know, on his wife's family to help them, like, open this store. Now, what exactly he was doing for a living in the Philippines, we're not entirely sure. It seems like he was working in this little store, but I mean, he had a lot of time for live streaming. He also helped out with some computer issues. But there was also something else. Coming from America, and, you know, in comparison to the locals, he would have had a fair few bob in his pocket. And there was a good number of reports that in this place, he had become a loan shark to the locals, the locals weren't very, very well off, charging 40% interest on the money he was lending out. That's essentially one of the reasons he was making a living in these parts. Which brings me to my next point. Round these parts.
So yeah, that's what our days been like today. The guy who we lent money to, he returned our money. We lent him $21,400 and he came back with $23,500. So a little extra. We sent him back with $35K. Yeah, should be seeing a little bit extra profit off of this. Maybe in 1 month we'll have already 3,500 profits. You know.
The part of the Philippines he was living in was close to Cebu, but it was in the province called Zamboanga del Norte region. This is an island in the south of the country. This area has a not great reputation for violence, kidnapping, especially of foreigners. Specifically, the UK, US, and Australian government travel websites warn against traveling there. Red is no good on these maps, and Elliot was balls deep in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's like everybody's saying that, you know, you should just go home. Like, this is literally my third time down here, living in this house. It's my third time. The first time I came here, it was like 1 month or something. Or like 2 months I stayed here and then I went home. The second time, it was 6 months I stayed here and then I went home. Because of these kidnapping stories and shit like that.
It's literally called a red zone, as in many travel advisories saying, go there, do not do. If you go there, especially as a foreigner or a Westerner, you're gonna be up shit creek without a paddle, my friend. You're gonna be f***ed.
No tourists ever come here. I've never seen one. Except for maybe from Arabia or Saudi Arabia or something. Yeah. No tourist has ever visited this area. I'm like the first one who's ever. Well, I think there's been people who have visited, but they only stay like a day. I've never seen any other foreigner here. Because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous area.
He went there, and basically he did sort of let slip through his vlogs multiple times. More and more how unsafe he was feeling. I mean, it seems like to start off, Elliot was like, what a badass, look at me, staying in this like real dangerous area. And then over a while it's like, oh no, this is dangerous actually. This is not good.
Honestly, my life here, it's like, it's kind of ass, a little bit. if I were to do it again, I wouldn't do it like this. It's not even that I'm scared, it's like the fact, like the family that I'm living with is scared of me, something happening to me, and then if something happens to me, they're scared that something's gonna happen to them too. So it's like I'm stuck, listening to what they are telling me what to do. That's the hard part.
He was actually warned numerous times, leave. Like, not as in, we want you to leave, but if you stay here, something bad will probably, he was warned out of concern for his safety. Warnings he chose to ignore.
Everybody's telling me right now, there's people out there planning to come get me, bro. No, but that's true though. There's people coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me, or they're threatening to kidnap me, or stuff like that. Like every day this is happening. This is like a real life thing for me here, and that's why no foreigners or there's no tourists staying here, because they're smarter than that. But for me, I've been living here. I've been taking this chance. You know, even last night, I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared. There's been many nights in this house where I'm just been scared, dude. And if it comes to the point where it's like, all of a sudden I'm kidnapped and something's gonna happen to me, I'm gonna ask myself, I don't know.
And that takes
It's just so crazy, y'all, because it's almost like he knew that eventually he was going to end up getting kidnapped. Like, he knew that the situation he was in was going to end badly at some freaking point. But it's also one thing that is like almost like he making matters even worse for himself. Not only is he in a danger zone in a place where these people don't like no outsiders, no foreigners, you know what I'm saying? He taking that risk. But then he also being a loan shark. Now that's like a double whammy to these people who don't like you. You know what I'm saying? It just give them another reason to freaking kill you or kidnap you, whatever. And then they know you got a little more money than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of bad things that he got going on that just, I think, gonna end up causing him his life. I don't know yet, but let's find out.
To October 17th, 2024.
I don't really know, like, what would happen if somebody did come try to come here and kidnap me, right? Would the neighbors help me, or would they just sit there and watch? Because it's gotten to the point where I've been here for so long that people are, like, have become normalized for me in this area. And especially the family I'm living with, and I just don't know. Like, I get mixed feelings, you know, so it's kind of like...
He was live streaming all that day, but you can sort of tell he was fearful and on edge throughout. Like he knew something bad was going to happen, which it did.
Enjoying Philippines? I'm enjoying it. There's some parts that I like about it, there's some parts that I don't like about it.
And you know what, Bean Team? I'm going to throw an extra, like, double, triple, quadruple whammy on there that I think may be the case also. Just the fact that his wife or his girlfriend is a Filipino woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, them dudes around there don't like that issue coming and being with they women. You a foreigner coming to take they women. I'm just saying, some of them thinking like that too.
From reports, about 2 hours after he finished live streaming, which would have been around 11 p.m., 4 men dressed as police officers armed with M16s knocked on his door and tried to take Elliot away. He resisted, Elliot fought back, and so they shot him. They shot him twice. They shot him once in the leg and once in the stomach. The stomach shot seems like it could have been accidental, but regardless, he was pumping blood everywhere, and they dragged him out of his home with his wife, screaming in the background. They dragged him out of his home, down to the beach, and into this little motorized boat, into the darkness. simply just leaving behind his wife, blood in the kitchen, a blood trail from his house to the beach to the waves. What happened next, we're not exactly sure, but this became major news. Now, initially, this was thought to be a kidnapping for a ransom, rich American in town, known to be a moneylender, and it made sense. That's happened to Westerners numerous times before in this exact area, hence why it's a red zone and you don't go there. Thing was, though, he wasn't rich. One of the reasons he was there was that he simply couldn't afford to leave.
Right now, I can't really move right now because I don't have any money saved right now. That's like the problem.
Thing was, there was no ransom. There was no communication. Not a thing. It was thought maybe it could have been a terrorist group active in the area, Abu Sayyaf. Maybe they were responsible. Maybe there was another reason. As, again, he was known to have money, but he vanished. And it wasn't looking good. And it's not like he had the money on him. His wife and her family, they appealed, made public appeals for his release, but no response from the kidnappers. And if it's a ransom, if it's a ransom, you usually have to ask for the ransom to be given. The FBI got it. They flew over. FBI got involved in the hunt for Elliot Eastman, but they came up empty-handed. It would take a few months before something resembling an answer would begin to come out. In November, 3 men were killed in a shootout with police, and it's believed those three men were there for the kidnapping. Then in January 2025, it's believed the mastermind of the kidnapping plot was arrested. He was 35-year-old Jakaria Siddiq Jamani of Sabuco, where Elliot was living. Allegedly, Elliot was killed on the boat. Either he was taken out into the dark water and shot, and then his body dumped into the water, or he succumbed to that stomach wound he had suffered in the house and they threw his body into the water. The motivation behind it still seems to be sort of unclear. Again, people returning to the idea of him being a moneylender, and so this, they'd kidnapped him for ransom, only intending on shooting him in the leg, but then he ended up, dying, so they didn't ask for the ransom. But it does seem that the man who was arrested, it's been speculated that he was an ex-partner of Carisha, Elliot's wife. This Jakaria fella, he was her partner before she met Elliot, and he was jealous of Elliot, resentful, and wanted her back. And so Elliot had to go. It's possible that there could be multiple motivations, that he wanted Elliot out of the picture and they also wanted a ransom, but who knows. He's said to be a very uncooperative prisoner. Now, there's a lot of reports out there of him being, a passport bro and kind of got what he had coming to him. But, watching his vlogs, I couldn't help feel kind of sorry for him. He seemed like a very lost person who was just trying to find a place to fit in and call home.
Like, even on the video call, like, if I talk to my dad too much, like, once in a while, it's okay. But, like, if it's, like, every day, you can tell he's really not interested in, like, talking to me anymore. Like, he's not interested. So I get the same kind of feelings here, so it's kind of, like, hard living with people like that. That's why I am anxious to go.
He didn't really want to be there. He wanted to leave. He said he was sick of the area multiple times, and he was scared. He did say he couldn't afford to move somewhere better. But still, I think there was another reason keeping him there that he didn't say. Either his wife or his wife's family wouldn't let him leave. There's plenty of parts of the Philippines that are very safe for Westerners, but for some reason he stayed there long after he knew he should have left, and what he knew was going to happen, happened.
I really do. Honestly, the biggest thing I appreciate about these live streams is you guys giving me advice on what I should do in my life. Not that somebody should have advice on what people should tell them to do, but it helps me. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about you guys are, like, helping me get through my life and figure out my life and everything. Like, I don't know, it's a lot for me. Like, it's more than just, like, getting subscribers. It's, like, doing these live streams, it's like guiding my life in a way, too.
The story of Elliot Eastman is certainly a cautionary tale, but one you sort of think you wouldn't need to hear. If you're in an unfamiliar area, in a foreign country, whatever, and the locals are telling you, for your own safety, you should probably leave, it's a good idea to listen to them. End of story.
In the story, man. And just watching it right then after Mike then gave us the whole story and the whole context behind those videos and stuff that we were seeing. Now I really understand what Mike was saying when you just looking at him. He seemed like he was lost, Bean Team. He seemed like he was confused about life and what he really wanted and what he really wanted out of life and where he wanted to be at and stuff. You know what I'm saying, man? It just seemed like he was trying to find his place in life. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And he didn't even get the opportunity to actually reach that freaking level, man. And as far as like why those dudes killed him, I threw out the same theories that Mike threw out, and I feel like you can go with pretty much any of those theories. Just like at the end when I brought up that it may be some dudes out here like you taking my race of women from me. You got my race of women with a white guy, whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying, man. And come to find out that one of the dudes was possibly his wife ex, so it may be some type of ish like that too, or it may be the freaking money laundering ish, or they just simply didn't want him there because he was not part of the Philippines. He wasn't a Filipino. I don't know, Bean Team. I don't know, but rest in peace to him too. Let's go, y'all. We might have one more. I don't know. Let's find out. Yep, one more.
Henry Ford College is a public community college located in Dearborn, Michigan. Its history goes back almost 90 years, but one of the most tragic, if not the most tragic events in this college's history happened in 2009.
Hey y'all, my glasses. We about to take you to another groove.
Is that a doll on her bed? I'm just being serious, B Team. It gotta be a doll, right? But that doll look real human-like. I'll just leave it at that. But that gotta be a doll, y'all. At least I hope it is.
Girl, you in the middle of my music video.
In 2009, Asia was 20 years of age, very active in dance and theatre at the college, as well as on YouTube back in those early days. See, Asia dreamed of being an actress, so she would post these little videos, skits and jokes, just trying to make people laugh. She was having a good ass time, me love me some of them. However, she would digitally, and then physically, come into contact with a fella who was sort of like the polar opposite of having a good ass time. He was actually the polar opposite of Asia in almost every single thing he did and how he viewed the world.
Alright, this is to all my fellow Christians. Look, yo, we gotta come together, man. You know, these atheists is on that dumb shit again. I'm pretty sure that some of these ass atheists are gonna come on this video talking that bullshit because they're coming after me. They like to send me emails and stuff like that. They're gonna come to this video. Some of them have even subscribed to my video. But
also attending Henry Ford College was 28-year-old Anthony Powell. Anthony was a local of the area, and he too frequently posted on YouTube on his account Tony482.
Yeah, Bean Team, I remember this story from somewhere, but I swear, I don't even know if I was doing reaction videos when I heard this. Like, this feel like I heard about this story like 3, 4, maybe 5 freaking years ago. But seriously, man, this one is so crazy, y'all. If you don't know, listen and find out.
His yapping away, though, was a little different than Asia's.
These tools of Satan, these troopers of Satan, these monsters, these demons, these subhuman monkeys.
She just wanted to joke around, have a laugh, have a good time. Anthony wanted you to hate, just like he hated. And he hated everything.
I'm gonna tell you just how, I'm gonna show you and tell you just how pathetic and ignorant and stupid these atheists are. My God, it's beautiful. They're angry. They have so much rage and hate in them. Look at this. This is so pathetic, I swear to God.
Now, Anthony had a long history of clinical depression and other issues. And his parents, Sam and Doris, had tried for years to get their son help, but Anthony was just not very good at taking his meds. And that's help seemingly never happened. Now, Anthony, he would post a lot on his YouTube channel about his hatred of, he was sort of, I guess, maybe an incel before incel was sort of the term that a lot of people would use these days. He especially hated women, especially black women, even though he was black. He hated nothing, in his mind, nothing worse than sexually promiscuous women. Whoa boy, he thought women need to be submissive. These are all ding-dings for trying to get a girlfriend, which he did not have. He was also a highly religious young fella, which is grand, but he took to religion and he hated everybody who's not that. I mean, he hated atheists more than he loved, Jesus Christ.
Us intelligent Christians, we didn't evolve. We came from God, and atheists are a result of evolution. They came from monkeys. Want to know why they came from monkeys? Because they're stupid as fuck. They're stupid. And you know what? I changed my mind. Atheists are not humans. They're monkeys. They're animals. They're animals!
So his views and Asia's, they really came into contact with each other from different angles, and once they sort of found each other on YouTube and leave little comments and video responses, as you could leave video responses back in the day, well, a real hatred began between the two of them. And then, guess what? They found out not only did they attend the same college together, they actually shared theater class together. You can tell Anthony really got off on these online arguments. I mean, he would come out with some gems like this.
They're evil, they're hate mongers, they're disgusting, they're filthy animals.
But Anthony have an hate? Pff, shit. Jeez Louise, no way. Honestly, it sort of seems like Anthony may have had a crush on Asia, because as I said, they did share a class together, so they would have, at least been sort of acquainted with each other. But from what I can kind of gather, and they were friends on MySpace, but what I can kind of gather is maybe he asked her out, she said no, and then he just started pounding the keyboard, fellas. And so they began to comment and make video responses on each other's shit, and basically constantly, to be fair.
And it's just, I don't understand, just because you believe, okay, you're a Christian or whatever your religion is, just because that's what you believe in and somebody else believe in something else, don't mean that you gotta hate them. Like, that logic just is crazy to me. Like, I feel like this dude it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than him hating atheists. Being an atheist a religion? I guess not, being team, because they don't believe in God or a creator or whatever, something like that. So I guess it's not a religion, but just whatever. Why are you mad at what somebody else believe in? Long story short story long, man. Like, I just never understand people like that. And this dude here, I think he probably did kind of like Asia a little bit. And that maybe, and he got mental problems anyway. He was already taking medication. Like, maybe this all was just a culmination. Everything just bottled up, and he just freaking exploded. All the different ingredients made this ish just explode one day in the worst way. Let's keep going.
You don't want a man that's gonna treat you right, buy you shit, and drama free. You don't want no drama free man. You don't want a drama free relationship, because to you that's a weak man. He's not strong enough. He's not. He ain't got enough confidence. These little lame ass excuses that you use to say, "Oh, I don't want that man. He's not good enough for me." These are the lame ass excuses. And then you get with a guy that try to respect your mother ass. Oh, he's not good enough.
And this bullying just continued and continued. Asia did make a video response to the shit Anthony was giving her, which made things worse. That's for sure.
Okay, this don't go out to all the YouTube people. It goes out to just about YouTube haters. Yeah, so finally paid attention to you. But anyway, it's not to sound all like, but for real though, like, for the people that just felt like they had to come on my page and hate. When you hate, you feel as if you're here, and the other person is down here. And when you hate, this is what you do. Bringing the other person up, and you bringing yourself down because you hating, and you making that person look famous, and you just bringing a lot of spark to them. Now the haters, this is what you can do. The haters, this you on my screen. Bounce off the screen and bounce off my page. And for the people that like what I'm doing, stay right here. We all cool.
And 3 days later, it would lead to a violent confrontation that would not only take one life, it would take two. On April 10th, 2009, Asia was in a classroom in the Mackenzie Fine Arts Center at the Henry Ford Community College. She was alone in that classroom. All the other students having already left. This was in the afternoon of that day. Even earlier that same day, Asia and Anthony had already shared theater class together, so they would have seen each other, in the hours before. Asia, though, she was in this classroom alone, probably just tidying up her stuff or maybe working on a project, and then she heard footsteps outside in the hallway, coming towards the classroom, before the door to the classroom suddenly burst open, and standing there was Anthony. In his hands was a sawn-off shotgun. Asia froze, and Anthony pulled the trigger. The college went into immediate lockdown, and the police were called, only to hear a second shot ring out in that same classroom. When armed police finally made it to the door, they found both the bodies of Asia and Anthony on the ground. Both were dead. This feud, online bullying, whatever you want to call it, it had escalated and escalated to the point it led to these two YouTubers dying, being shot, both of them being shot in the head. I mean, one was done to themselves. But even earlier, there was a video seen by somebody had seen some of Anthony's stuff where he had said he was going to do this. He said he had a sawn-off shotgun, and guess what I'm going to do, folks? You won't believe it. They reported this to the police. They were ignored, and there you have it, folks. I'm sure there's a lesson there in that one. I don't got to spell it out for you. You know what's up, big dog. You know what I'm trying to say.
I don't even freaking remember all that detail. Well, two details I forgot about that last story real quick, Bean Team. The fact that he took his own life. I remember he had killed Asia. I forgot that he ended up taking his own life. And I damn sure ain't know about the other part about him actually having a video out saying he was gonna do it, and then he actually did it, and the people showed the police and the police ignored it. Man, I don't remember that at all. That just make the story even more terrible, effed up, and crazy.
Each of these YouTubers has their own cautionary tale. Talika was a victim of herself and her own mental illness. Elliot, a victim of circumstance, and although he listened to the warnings and was fearful, sometimes you can't just listen, you gotta act. And Asia was a victim of a bully who took things to the absolute extreme. She didn't do anything wrong, but sometimes you're better off ignoring the haters or whatever. And there you go. That's some good learning. Some good learning for you there, folks. I guess. And that'll do it for this old one. Thank you so much for watching, folks. It means the absolute world to me that you're here watching this old video. I hope you found it interesting, I guess you could say. As always, if you're looking for more That Chapter stuff, please check out the That Chapter podcast, which has a brand new podcast exclusive story posted every single Monday. That Chapter podcast available on all podcast platforms, so give that a go. But until the next old video, every single Tuesday, or next Tuesday, or whatever day of the week it is now, please take care of each other and yourselves. Because I love you. Mike out.
Yeah, Bing Team. That one right there was one of those. It was one of those ones where I truly feel like in all three of these cases, where I know at least the last two cases, I can't really just blame them for them losing their lives. Hold on, man. Let me look at the first one too. Because I can't really remember the first one. Oh yeah, now that one they're different with what her name, Talika. Now that one a little different, man. She just had mental health issues, but I'm just talking about like the last two with the dude who was staying in the Philippines, and then Asia. In a way, you can say that it was on them for them losing their lives. You know what I'm saying? They should have never got themselves in those circumstances, or especially with the dude, he should have got out way before it got to that point, and he knew what was going to eventually happen. But it's like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know, man. This is one of those ones, man, where like Mike at the end, when he was like, that's some good learning for you. And he kind of was laughing when he said it, like saying it sarcastically. It's like, I really don't know what to learn from these videos as far as like looking at it, trying to look at it a positive or something that I should think about in my life. I don't know, man. These was just some strange and odd deaths, y'all. Speaking of Talika in the first one, that's one of those ones where it's just like, man, I guess a valuable lesson I can say with that one is, like I said earlier, man, make sure you talk to your family and friends and try to make sure that none of them ain't really got no mental health issues going on, man. Because on the outside looking in with Talika, and she looked like she was one of the brightest ones in the room when she walked in. It just on the inside that freaking light was dimming. It was getting dimmer and dimmer, and then it went to freak out. Rest in peace to her, y'all. But it's just like, man, all these, y'all. Then the second one, like I said, dude, it's like he knew what was coming, but he was just in a bad situation, and he was making it worse with the money. And this just in my opinion with the being a loan shark and all that is just I don't know, y'all. Rest in peace to him too. And the last one being team, like I really don't know. I guess you could argue that Asia should have never put out that video going back at this crazy ass dude or all that or whatever. She should have never been arguing with him or whatever, but I don't think she ever knew it would get to that point. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody seen that ish coming except for himself. You know what I'm saying, man? That man was on a freaking. He was just like, he had been taking medicine for this ish. You know what I'm saying? He been taking medicine, been spazzing out, been going crazy. And he just kept going down that road until he eventually crashed out. And not only did he crash out on Asia, he crashed out on himself. I'll say this, I guess once I really try to do something to try to look at a bright side of it being team, at least it was just him and her that he took out. You know what I'm saying? Because this was at the college, and it just so happened they was the only two in the room. But imagine if he would just walked in on the whole classroom and just crashed out. Would have made it even worse being team. It's still bad though. It is still freaking bad. And I digress. I'm gonna go let y'all go, man. Another great video from Mike from that chapter. Is always a delight when we get to go back to Mike. And before y'all leave, just please hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that if you ain't did that yet. And remember this: love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.
If you're feeling lonely today, come along and throw your cares away. We're really glad that you're our friend, and this is a friendship that